Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AIMAN bin Ahmad KAMAL with major number 1714535. I'm from IIUM, majoring in English language and literature. So today we're actually, due to the Earth Day on April 22nd, me and my group mates, me and my friends, we decided to make a presentation or an interview regarding deforestation in Malaysia. Because as we know, deforestation is getting worse in Malaysia, right? So today with me, I have a special guest. One of my closest friends that I know from the past. And now he's volunteering and also working for GreenPeace Malaysia, which is Mr. Nik. Before we start our interview, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, my name is Nik. I'm from GreenPeace Malaysia. I'm a volunteer and a fundraiser for GreenPeace. So I'm 26 years old and I've been doing volunteering for and fundraising for GreenPeace for a whole year already. So hopefully longer. We'll see.
Okay, we're moving on to the first question. There is much more crisis the world is facing, and bringing awareness for the same is quite important. And one of them I would like to emphasize is logging activities in Malaysia. A research team made up of scientists from 3 different universities used new satellite technology to survey the rainforest. They found that 80% of the tropical landscape had been degraded by logging, largely due to timber or oil palm production, and this is from 2013. How would you like to comment on that? Is logging still being legally or illegally done in Malaysia?
So, as we all know, as Malaysians, our main issue in Malaysia is deforestation. As we know, our weather in Malaysia is getting hotter, and there's a lot more flooding issues in Malaysia, right? So, right now the problem is there's both legal and illegal deforestation happening. So the main focus that GreenPeace is thinking about is the illegal deforestation, because the way they are doing deforestation is causing more harm to the society and the environment than it should be. So that's what we need to focus on right now, because the legal way is obviously we need to move on into as a country, because our population is always increasing, so we need to think about the economy of the country, but we need to start thinking in an effective way, environmental friendly way. So that's what I feel like about this situation right now.
Oh, I see. Okay, moving on to the next question. Malaysia's deforestation rate is accelerating faster than any other tropical country, and between 1990 and 2010, it lost 8.6% 8.6% of its forest cover. What do you think are the main causes or any event that lead to the rapid deforestation and illegal removal of forest products? And can you explain to us more about that?
I feel like one of the big issue doing this for a year, I hear the same thing, people talking about the government, but I don't want to get into that issue, but I feel like there should be more repercussion, there should be more monitoring, more repercussion, because if we know who's causing all this, we can know how to stop it. And that's not the only problem. The other problem is the way we're spending our money, because these companies, they make money out of us spending their product. And most of these products in Malaysia, the deforestation is caused by palm oils or any other timber companies. So, for example, palm oils, we should support the companies that are doing it in an eco-friendly way compared to what we're doing it right now, because there's more illegal deforestation that's happening. Even though there's more legal deforestation, but we're letting them doing it. You know what I mean? That's what I feel about it. Why it's increasing right now, and we should, think about our actions more right now. Yeah.
since deforestation is a major threat to our country, Malaysia, what are the positive and the negative effects of deforestation to the country? And do you think it is inclined more towards the negative effects or the positive?
Alright, so as we all know that the positive effect of like this deforestation obviously is the palm oil, because this is the main source of our economy, our money right now in this country. So the positive effect that we're prospering as a country because we're making more money for the country. But the negative is also, this is just my point of view, so you don't have to agree with me, just my point of view is that the negative effect is that we don't see any positive from all this money gain. We're still suffering, and we are still feeling the environmental effect of the negative environmental effect of the deforestation more than the positive effect of the economy. You know what I mean? In this situation right now. But yeah, that's how I feel right now. We're more inclined towards the negative right now. We should balance out.
So, Nik, as we are talking about the positive and negative effects of deforestation in our country, we do know about the impacts of deforestation towards the environment in Malaysia. But for the people who do not know about the environmental effect of the deforestation in our country, can you tell and explain to us about the environmental impacts of deforestation in Malaysia?
Alright, well, I'm gonna go from basic and then to what's happening right now. So basically, trees are our oxygen. So it's providing the oxygen for all the living things in this world. So right now, because of deforestation, not only in Malaysia but around the world, we're losing about in 25 seconds 1 football field of trees. And because of that, we already lost 40% of the world's forest. And as we all know, our species, our animals, they live inside our forest. So if we cut down our forest, then our animals will have to find a new place to live. So they could come into our areas. So there are cases where, for example, Nipa Virus, which is a sickness, a zoonotic disease. So it's we don't know what other disease that can come from animals if we keep cutting down their homes. That, and obviously we all know hazing or germ will always come into Malaysia, right? That's because the method they are using for deforestation, the illegal waste right now in Sabah, Sarawak, Kalimantan, and Malaysia is slash and burn, which is they want to burn up the trees as fast as they can, and that's causing more harm to our environment. As you all know, we experienced the worst days in like 2014 Malaysia, where all the schools shut down for a month and we couldn't even go out. So that's an example of the very negative impact of the deforestation in Malaysia right now, and in Indonesia, because we're all close by to each other. But yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but I've heard that you spoke about Nipa virus, right?
Yeah.
Can you deeply explain about Nipa virus?
Alright, so basically Nipa virus is a zoonotic disease. It comes from fruit bats. So during 1998, there was a big forest fire in Indonesia, Kalimantan, and caused all the fruit bats to fly from Indonesia to Malaysia. But as you all know, our animals, they don't know which areas they can go in or not. So they accidentally entered our mango farms in Malaysia. I believe it was in Ipoh or in Negeri Sembilan, one of those, I forgot. But they entered our mango farm and they infected our mangoes, and we end up eating the mangoes, right? So that's how the sickness jumped from animals to humans. So Nipa virus is like COVID-19, but it's not as spreadable as COVID-19, but it has a higher mortality rate. So COVID-19, as you all know, it has a mortality rate about 2%. So Nipa virus is about 40%. It's still ongoing right now, but like I said, it's not as spreadable, so they're containing this disease with the infected people. But yeah, that's Nipa virus.
Oh, I see. Thank you for the explanation. So Nik, regarding the next question,
Yeah.
we do know that deforestation can be one of the factors that causes the cases of flooding, especially the 2014 Kelantan flood and also the early 2021 in Pahang.
Yeah.
So what are your personal thoughts or opinions about this?
Okay, so the main cause of the flooding and the loss of biodiversity in those areas mainly is because even though yes we are the palm oils companies, they are cutting down our trees, even though they're planting new trees like kelapa sawit trees, palm trees, there's a big difference between the palm trees and the actual trees inside our forest. So our forests, the trees over there, they're bigger, they have deeper roots, and they can hold more water. So if you cut down those trees and replace with a palm tree which is skinnier and don't have the bigger leaves or branches that can hold the water, then it can cause more flooding. And the biodiversity is different, as you know, because some animals requires a certain type of plant or trees. But right now, as you drive around Malaysia, I bet you can see yourself just driving around on your left and right, you see more palm trees than our normal forest trees. So that's the main cause of the flooding and loss of biodiversity right now during those times and current times.
Okay, we already know about the negative impacts, right? And how about we let the audience know, as you mentioned before, on the positive impacts of deforestation? Like how can those positive impacts maybe help our country or maybe our society?
Yeah. So right now, as my understanding and as you can see right now, the positive impact is that the growth of the economy right now of the country. So the the palm oil company, they're providing a lot of jobs for a lot of citizens in Malaysia, and those jobs really help the flow of the economy. And I'd say the other positive impact would be some of those money that is gained. Some of these companies, they provide it back to the environment. So there's some hutan simpan areas where it's preserved because of these. Yeah, that's from my understanding right now, the positive impacts.
Okay, thank you, Nik. So let's proceed to the solution, which is essential in dealing with this particular issue, right?
Yes.
So what are the solutions that can be done in preventing deforestation in our country? Maybe the roles of the government or the NGOs or maybe the society itself?
Okay, so I'd say it's the role of everyone listed that you just told me about. So first, government, yes, it's the role of the government. The government should provide complete transparency with the contracts or the government dealing with other companies that's happening around this country. So for example, kelapa sawit, we need to know if some of the deforestation agreements, if it's legal or illegal, if it's properly handled or not. So we as a citizen, we should deserve to know because, as you know, we live in a democratic country. We're not living in any other type, So that's one. And the other one, as a people, we should, to be honest, we as a people, we are responsible because we are the problem and we are the solution for this issue. The problem is we're spending our money with these companies that we don't even think about. And some of these palm oil ingredients are collected illegally, So we need to properly buy the things that are positive, eco-friendly. And the NGO, we should continue our efforts because without the efforts of the NGO who are going to the field, collecting the signatures, or actually trying to stop the forest fires, they're doing the work. And I know some people, we can't do it, so we help them by giving the money to continue their efforts. So that's the solution right now.
Oh, okay. So the government has made numerous efforts in dealing with this issue, right?
Yeah.
But don't you think a reinforcement is needed, such as reenactment or a heavier punishment towards illegal logging?
Yes. So I feel like we need to have a heavy punishment, or at least just a complete transparency of what's going on. Because I feel like we need to know what's going on as a people for us to vote to know what to do next. You know. So, for example, voting for the right person, or doing a petition against a big company, for example, like that, you know. So as a people, we need to be more aware, more educated, and it's a good thing we live in a digital generation now. Everything is on social media, so hopefully we can spread more word, and hopefully we can really, make a difference.
Okay. So as you are working and volunteering for GreenPeace, so can I know more about GreenPeace way in handling this situation?
So GreenPeace, for example, one of the main issues forest fire in Malaysia in Sabah, Sarawak, Kalimantan. So one of the ways that GreenPeace is handling the situation is we're sending a team. It's called the Forest Fire Prevention Team, and this is our volunteers, our trained volunteers that are sent into the forest to monitor illegal deforestation and forest fire. They are trying to stop the forest fire before it spreads out by using the river water, but as you know, it takes a long-term effort, because there are our forests, and the Kalimantan forest in Indonesia is huge, so it's hard to monitor each section without having more support. So that's one of our frontliners' job, because they're sending support to the people living in those areas as well. Our other job is we're trying to petition big companies. So we done that in 2016 against HSBC Bank. We did a petition against HSBC because we found out they were giving loans and funding to the companies that are doing the forest fire. So I am not sure if they knew that or not, that they were doing the forest fire or not, and if they were blindly supporting or not, but they were funding them. So we did a petition saying you have to stop supporting HSBC. And they listened, and they started the no deforestation, no peat, no exploitation. So basically, what GreenPeace is trying to do is we're trying to follow the money, do more research, and do more investigation, and trying to shine a light on the situation right now in Malaysia. Because I feel like we all need to know what's going on.
Okay, that's cool. So what can us, the public, do aside from volunteering and preaching on social media?
Okay, so one of the ways that I found out recently is supporting companies or producers that are very sustainable with palm oil. So what I mean by sustainable is they have a set limit on the amount of palm trees that they own, and they can't go even more than that. So it's better, they're not destroying more deforestation. They have a set amount. So this is called this type of thing, certification. It's called the Roundtable Sustainable Palm Oil, RSPO. So you can check the database, and you can check what company is actually doing this the sustainable way, and you can either go to the store itself and request more of that product, or you can start supporting that product. Preach more about these products, and like any other products that we don't even know where the source of the palm oil is. So that's one of the ways that we can do that. And other ways is obviously vote for the right people, try to get the right people in the right place, and make a change, hopefully.
I hope that the solutions that you mentioned just now will eventually solve and save our forest anyway, inshallah. But what are some complications that may intervene our effort in handling deforestation?
Well, I can think of a couple. So one of them is, as we all know, big companies, right? So the deforestation, the one we're worried about is the illegal deforestation. So as you know, our forest is very huge and very vast. So it's hard to keep track on the areas that are there doing the illegal deforestation and how to prevent it, sending a team, for example. So that's one complication. Another complication is I feel like the mindset that is going on around here right now in Malaysia, because I've heard a lot of people saying that yes, we all know what's going on, but we can't do anything because there's a lot of situation that we can't control. But I feel like we have to start moving at least, because if we don't, then that's when we lose, when we stop moving. So that's one of the complications I see. Some of the complications.
Moving on to the next question, Mr. Nik. So, if these deforestation cases do not stop until who knows, what do you think will happen in the next 5 or 10 years? And will this affect our aspects as well, like economy, people live, or others in the future?
Okay, well, for economy, it could be if the money actually goes back to the people, then it could be positive for the country. But there are some cases where we see that the money is not actually going to the people, it's going to the one person, for example. That's one of the things that I can see can happen, but hopefully not. Another thing, in the 5 years, if we continue deforestation or don't maintain or try not to, if we don't even do reforestation or anything, then I can see our environment will become worse to a point where we can't fix it back. So as we all know, if our Earth temperature rise by 1 degree, it's going to be worse in the world, right? So that could happen, but in the next 5 years, it will be close to that. It won't reach that. So I hope we can delay it. We can't fully fix it because it's already that bad right now. But we can delay it and hopefully get it into a better position.
How about the impacts that they're given towards the environment? I mean, the next 5 years, is deforestation still happening? What does it give impact towards our environment?
Oh, like what will happen? What will be the negative impact on the environment? Yeah.
So maybe positive?
No, it will be negative because if we don't try to balance it out, then one of them will be our oxygen will be less, our ozone layer will be thin, and our temperature will become hotter. The sea level will rise. As we all know, the Arctic is melting right now. And with the sea level rising, there's more cases of flooding or tsunami. But in the next 5 years, it won't be like doomsday level. It will be, I can't say the precise thing that can happen, but it will just be worse than the situation right now. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Mr. Nik. I'm sure that you are very aware about this issue and you might be thinking of doing something to overcome this problem, right?
Yeah.
But in your personal opinion, what can we, me as a student, do in order to help decrease the effects of deforestation towards the environment so that we can save our earth, especially our forests?
Okay, so as a student, I feel like our next generation, we have to lead by example. So the problem right now I see in Malaysia is that most people feel like we're helpless. We can't solve this issue. So we have to try to feel like we have to do something about it, So I know this is overused, but spread the word. I feel like that's the main issue. We have to spread the word. Look at the certain issue and try to tell people about it so people can learn. And as you know, we as a student we can vote now. So vote for the right people. Try to get the right people in the right position, and hopefully we can make a change about it.
Okay, speaking of spreading awareness, as a person who works and knows the perception of our society about this issue, how much do you rate Malaysian in terms of awareness towards the environment?
In terms of awareness towards the environment, I feel like most Malaysians, we know the issue. That's not the issue right now. The issue is feeling like we can make a difference. Because I feel like the most problem I face right now is that people, they want to make a change, but they feel like we have to do something about the government first. Yes, we have to do something about the government first, but we can't by just saying it's the government's fault. You can't just keep saying it's the government's fault. It's the government's fault. You have to fix the issue with the government. Then we make the change. We do the change. So yeah.
So you think that we Malaysians need more exposure?
Yes, more exposure. We need to know what's actually going on, who are being affected, and what's going to happen if we don't try to make a change. Because I feel like we only focus on the main issues when it really affects us. For example, if there's a really bad case, then we're like, oh wow, we have to do something about this. But right now, the problem with the environment is we have to do prevention. We can't do cure right now, because that will be worse. If we have the problem and we have to fix it, we have to prevent that from the situation from happening. That's the issue right now. Yes, we have to do more exposure.
Due to the environmental issue that has been raised in many countries, the activities of deforestation has been controlled and laws related to it have been set. In your personal opinion, which country do you think handles deforestation wisely and really applies strict rules to save the environment?
Okay, I like this question because I did research on this question. And I found that there's one country, which is Norway. So that country, the thing that is different from other countries is they 100% transparent. They told the country that the government will try to do contracts with better companies instead of just more money. They should focus on a better future. That's one of the things, and what Norway did was, with their money, they help other issues that is rising in the other countries right now. So I know one of them, they provided help in the Amazon forest because of their 1 billion, more than juta. Because of their contribution, they prevented a lot of deforestation from happening in Amazon right now. So that's the best example of what we should do for our country and any other country in pursuit of humanity, a better future.
Thank you so much, Nik, for your sharing and also for your explanation regarding deforestation in Malaysia. I hope that all of you guys can take note and can learn something from this interview session. Well, as for me myself, what I've learned is that the most important thing to stop deforestation is creating awareness, is spreading awareness. I think that is most important thing, is so that many people will be aware about our situation, about our forest situation. And also, we must stop blame others. Instead, we must reflect to ourselves. We must ask ourselves, what can we do to help our environment? What can we do to preserve our forest? Well, I think that is all from us. Do you got anything to add, Nik?
Yes, I just want to say thank you for listening, and I hope we can start moving forward and try to make a better future.
Inshallah. Okay, Nik. Well, before we end our presentation,
Yes.
1, 2, 3, go green!